Hey there, book team. Noah. Everyone who reads it must converse. You know the channel. Thanks for coming by again. Today I'm going to talk about an awesome book, The Hour of the Star by Clarice Lispector. I was very fortunate to just find this at a used bookstore, and it did not disappoint. This turns out to be the final book that Clarice Lispector wrote in her lifetime. Such a beautiful copy, isn't it? I'll just let you kind of take a look at it a little bit. So, it's the final book that she wrote in her life, and it is very affecting. To tell you the truth, it is. It's pretty sad. There's a lot of stuff in here that I can say is just hard pills to swallow. A hard pill to swallow. So it is very interesting. There is Clarice Lispector in this work creates a narrator who is the author, creates an author who is a male figure, and he's writing about he's writing the story, but he's writing about himself, about to tell the story of this young girl. And the young girl's story is completely heartbreaking and done in such a way that, it's very, very effective. Now, she is a very, very poor individual. And I'll just go ahead and read the back first. The devastating final work by Brazil's greatest modern writer, The Hour of the Star, tells the haunting tale of Maccabea, a typist who lives in the slums of Rio, underfed, sickly, unloved, yet inwardly free. And that gives you a good idea of Maccabea. I believe her name even comes from the name of a disease. She was orphaned very young in her life. She was raised by an aunt that was very poor, and treated her poorly, along with having very little means in life. But Maccabea is a type that doesn't think very deeply. Not to say that she's stupid, but she is uneducated. And so she just does not internalize and take the world as a defining thing of her. Everything is just the way that it is. She can accept it. She doesn't, sit there and dwell on and think that her aunt maybe should treat her better or something like that. She just lives her life. And what a very devastating kind of life it is, actually. But it's something that I got to tell you, you got to just experience it for what it is. So I'm going to share a couple of parts that just kind of will give you a taste of what we're talking about here. And now, when we say when I say I here, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, that is the author, the male figure who is an author of Maccabea's story. And so this is a little taste. But let's get back to today, because as we know, today is today. You're not understanding me, and I darkly hear you laughing at me with the quick and rasping laugh of the old. And I hear measured footsteps in the street. I'm trembling with fear. Just as well that what I'm about to write is already somehow written within me. What I have to do is copy myself out with the delicacy of a white butterfly. The idea of the white butterfly comes because if the girl gets married, she'll marry thin and light, and as a virgin and white. Maybe she won't get married. The fact is, I hold a destiny in my hands, and I don't feel powerful enough to invent freely. I follow a hidden, fatal line. I have to seek a truth that is beyond me. Why should I write about a young girl whose poverty isn't even adorned? Maybe because within her there is a seclusion, and also because in the poverty of body and spirit I touch holiness. I who want to feel the breath of my beyond, to be more than I am since I am so little. So there, the narrator, it shows that the narrator there is relating himself to Maccabea. She is a part of him. It's not clear that he is a part of her necessarily, but she is a piece and a part of him as his creation like that. And he has power over writing her story. But he expresses that he feels like he doesn't have full power over her story. That her story is written. Her story is there, and he just is pulling it out, and he's the secretary, as it were. So him, that writer, is actually, Clarice Lispector, really. So there's a lot going on just with that kind of thing. It's an enjoyable, very interesting read, just like every Clarice Lispector is an interesting read. And one more part. Here, again, I in this is the narrator. Here I should record a joy that the girl on a Sunday without a flower had an unexpected happiness that was inexplicable. By the port she saw a rainbow. Feeling the light ecstasy, she immediately longed for another. She wanted to see, like once in Maceo, the popping of mute fireworks. She wanted more because it really is true that when you give that sort of an inch, they want to take the whole mile. Your average Joe dreams with hunger of everything, and he wants it, but he has no right to it now, does he? There was no way to, at least I can't, obtain the multiplying shimmers in the dazzling rain of fireworks. Should I say that she was crazy about soldiers? Well, she was. Whenever she saw one, she thought with a shiver of pleasure, is he going to kill me? So, there's a lot of things about Maccabea that are seemingly contradictory. And there are a lot of things that about Maccabea that are very, very innocent. Very, very innocent ways of looking at the world and ways of thinking about something, even if that's the right words. Because she doesn't think about things. She doesn't think into things. She accepts and she observes. She observes very insignificant things. It is a tale of insignificance. That's a very pointed way to put it. It's a tale of insignificance, and it's very very sad. If you're down for that kind of work, I definitely recommend it. It's something that'll give you some thought. I read it in a day. It's less. It's about 80 pages long, 85. It is just something like that. So there is a lot to Clarice Lispector's work. Anybody who's read some Clarice Lispector will know what I mean. That there is undertones, and there is kind of things within her work that are symbols and are kind of esoteric in the way that you don't really quite know what she's meaning by them. But one of these things that came out in this work, well, I'm going to touch on two actually, but one is that there are a series of explosions, and it is in parentheses where the narrator is just saying, blah, 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 explosion, and then continuing his sentence. And what those series of explosions mean, I'm not quite sure. It would be cool to go back and just point out where those explosions are and see if there is a thread that kind of connects them, or some kind of thing like that. But what I noticed very quickly, and then I kept my eye out for more, is the use of different types of musical instruments in this work. And now there's only 4. It's 80 pages long. So it's not very long. It's a novella. But we have the drum, and the drum is an anticipation of writing the story. The narrator hears the drum before, like maybe the first 15 pages. He's talking about about to write this story and give you the story of this little girl that he is, obligated, like he has to let it out or it's going to eat him alive. Her story. So, in anticipation of writing that, the drum is heard. Once we meet her, pretty quick off the bat, when we meet the girl, there's a flute, and we hear a flute, and that flute is expressed as delicate, her own simple, fragile truth of self. And these are all my words. They didn't come from the text explicitly, but that's what, the kind of feeling, the theme and the feeling, but when these instruments are heard. So the flute is delicacy, and Maccabea's own simple, fragile truth of self. And it is described in the text multiple times that she is an empty kind of person. Not a negative emptiness, but a positive emptiness. An emptiness that is, just there for life to pour into. Then there is a piano. There's a piano, maybe three quarters of the way through that we hear, and the piano is a hopefulness, maybe, but more like a daring to dream. So that was very weird, for this kind of thing, because Maccabea is not a very hopeful character. She doesn't, hope or wish for things, because she just doesn't think too deeply about things. She just accepts and lives and is being. And then in the end we hear a fiddle and a violin playing, and that is comes across as a warning of death. So I hope you enjoyed this booktube. I'm not going to say too much more. If you like Clarice Lispector, I do recommend it. I mean, I would recommend anything that she does. It's really, really fun. But Passion According to GH is far more powerful of a story. I'll leave a link to that one. Agua Viva is much more beautiful and amazing meditation on life. But there's definitely some deep stuff to this work, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you have read it, or if you do read it, please come back and let me know what you think. Thank you, BookTube. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.